not a video I particularly wanted to do for reasons that I've already discussed in other videos, so we're going to cut straight to it. What's wrong at West Ham, and is there anything wrong at West Ham? In the interest of balance, I'm going to go and do a video within the next day or two explaining the positives about why I think David Moyes is going to turn it round, why I think he's going to get us out of the bottom three, and why I think we'll go and have a good season. That being said, I don't necessarily think that, but I do feel sort of duty bound to do a positive video because we've had a good couple of years under David Moyes. I was going to call him Moyesy there. Don't call him Moyesy. We've had a good couple of years under him, basically, and I think he deserves at least me looking and seeing how he can turn things round and looking at his plus points and his good qualities, and they are numerous. But for this video, I want to deal with what's going wrong. When I say what's going wrong, obviously it's not just we're in the bottom three. I think it's just. No, I've written down some bullet points basically, which is why the glasses are going on. I think it's basically David Moyes' failure to realise or admit that something is wrong. That's what worries me more than anything. I think left unchecked, we're going to carry on exactly as we are. And that, I do believe, is a recipe for disaster. I say disaster, it's really hard to say. Let's look at our form. It's not just this season, so let's look at our form since the turn of the year. I think that's a fair way to do it. And I had a look, and I actually thought, that is quite a fair way to do it because we won our first couple of games of the new year, which was against Crystal Palace and Norwich. So we started the new year well. So it's not like I've taken it back to a point where I can sort of massage the stats. I've no desire to do that. I want us to win. I want us to get out of the relegation zone. I want us to be like we've been for the past couple of seasons. Basically, since the turn of 2022, we've played, I'm dealing with league games here, we've played 26 league games, we've won 8, we've drawn 5, and we've lost 13. We lose more than we win, significantly more than we win. Not a lot of draws in there either. It ain't too good. If we continue to lose more than we win, we're going to be there or thereabouts, sort of stuck roundabout down the bottom. Come the end of the season, definite relegation? Probably not. Probably got enough just to get us out. But I would suggest that certain things right now are worse than they were maybe 6 months ago or something like that, when there at least appeared to be a certain level of motivation about the team. Okay, so I've got 7 bullet points here, which I really want to go through. I'll try and rattle through as quickly as I can. First of all, pre-season. Let's talk about pre-season. The reason pre-season is important is David Moyes spent the start of the season complaining that the players weren't fit. Well, that's his fault. He chose the pre-season. It's his scheduling. He's the one that decided not to go overseas and do a tour somewhere. I'm not suggesting that's the right thing to do. Just some clubs do it. We chose not to. I think he likes to keep the training base in the UK. He certainly's got a favoured training base up near St Andrews. It's all part of team bonding as well. He takes the players to play golf at St Andrews. The training camps near. I understand his reasoning for not taking them overseas. The point of the matter is that's his choice. David Moyes likes to certainly sell the virtues of sports science and what he does. The players weren't fit. And if the players weren't fit, that's David Moyes' fault. I'm really unsure why he was complaining about it. So that was alarm bell number 1. So basically, not only did he fail to recognise he got it wrong, he actually devised a pre-season regime, which meant the players weren't fit enough. And we still hear it now. We're just trying to get such and such up and running, up to full fitness. You heard it the other day with Cornet. And do you know what? David Moyes was right. Cornet was really, really good in the game against Silky Board up until about 75 minutes. And he was blowing out of his what's it at that point. So, I'm not saying he's wrong and the players are fit. The players clearly aren't fit. Well, that's down to one player, particularly the one person, the manager, clearly for the players that have been here for quite some time. Point number 2 I've written down is reluctance to play new signings. This I don't get. I just don't understand it. Now, there will be evidence to the contrary. You're going to turn around to me and say, well, hold on, he played Kehrer, he played Paqueta from the start, and then he brought Cornet on, he brought Scamacca on. But you know and I know there's a reluctance for him to put new signings in. It doesn't seem to be hindering the other managers in the same way that pre-season doesn't seem to hinder the other managers. It only sort of seems to bother David Moyes. Now, I understand that there's a counter example, which is Nottingham Forest. I don't think it's a great example. I'll tell you why. They bought 18 players. I may have that wrong, but I'm wrong by one, or I might have even been right. It might be 19, it might be 17. I ain't wrong by a lot. Also, they're a championship club. The established Premier League clubs don't seem to have a problem bringing in players and putting them in the first team. Far from it. I mean, you've only got to look at Everton. I mean, I find it really, really difficult for David Moyes to make that excuse about players not being ready, particularly when you see Anana playing well, when you see Tarkowski and Cody. That's a whole partnership, defensive partnership, playing really well there. And then when you see Neil Mopai, who is not a top quality player, scoring a goal. It seems to only affect David Moyes to get these players an inability to integrate these players into the team. The third point I put down, reason for worry, is the tactical shift. I think there's been a tactical shift from David Moyes. He's alluded to it, and I'm sure as hell not sure what it is at all. Before I go any further and talk about this tactical shift, may I please point you in the direction of this video's sponsor, which is the Spitch Fantasy Football app. I've got to be honest, I had a very, very good week. And the reason I had a very good week, unlike West Ham, is because you're allowed to massively overspend, and overspend I did. I had Haaland, I had Kane, I had Jesus, I had De Bruyne, I had Phil Foden. I'm not joking. Honestly, I had a team full of superstars, because what it does is when you start packing your team full of these superstars, it'll penalise you. You start on minus points. We've got a little Hammers Chat mini league, which you're welcome to join by clicking that. Well, so you don't click there, you click the link below, but that's it. There'll be a picture of it there right about now. Join myself and Gio in that. If you want to take it a little bit more seriously, you can win prizes. There's free to enter games, which you can win money up between 250 and 600 pounds on the free games each and every game week. Or if you want to bet and play for the big bucks, there's up to £70,000 worth of prizes each and every game week. You've got to be 18 above though, because obviously there is a gambling element. Check it out, please. You to the link below. Tactical shift. I mean, where is it? What is it? I don't understand. He seems to be caught between the devil and the deep blue sea on this one. Okay, I don't mind him doing a tactical shift. I don't actually mind what he does. I don't mind if he does it either way. I don't mind if he wants to not be a counter-attacking team and play a possession game, then fine. But put the players in place to play the possession game. You can't play a possession game and have Thomas Souček in the middle. Same with Soufal, same with Fornals. Look, Fornals has had one stinky game this season. I think that's it. Maybe he's had two. In the main, he's been one of the better players. In fact, we've brought him off the bench twice to try and rescue games. That being said, he's not a left winger. He's not going to start dribbling past people. I don't want to get into all that again. My point is, what you can't do is parachute Lucas Paqueta into a team with a few cloggers in it, let's be fair, and suddenly expect us to turn into Frank Rijkaard's Barcelona. That's not going to happen at all. Not only that, I think there's confused messaging with these tactics. If you look how he played against Chelsea. I mean, it's to get Paqueta and play him so defensively against the team. I just find that really, really weird. It's just bizarre. I mean, it's a bit like getting Ronaldinho and telling him not to dribble. It's a very strange thing to do. I've not seen the tactical shift. I've not seen David Moyes. I'm not sure David Moyes is quite brave enough to do it. So I think we're actually more or less doing what we were doing last season. We're just doing it worse. And that's a worry. I look at Paqueta and I look at some of these signings. I'm not sure David Moyes knows what to do with them. I can't see a David Moyes signing when I look at Lucas Paqueta. I think he's probably a very good player. In fact, I'm sure he's a very good player. Can David Moyes either get the best out of him or put him in a position that's going to be most effective? I don't think so. Well, I've not seen it. I hope he can. Maybe this time spent on the training ground, which we get to in just a second, might help. But then again, Paqueta's going to go away with Brazil, so it's not like he's got him to work with, really, is it? I think you've only got to look at him playing against Silkeborg. Sorry, not Silkeborg. Was it? Whoever it was. I don't know. I think it was Silkeborg, the last one. And I looked at Paqueta and I thought he's playing three at the back, and it's just not a situation or a formation that suits basically a tricky, skillful number 10. It didn't. But we did play in a formation that would suit that when we played in the last game against Everton, but we didn't get him the ball. There was no supply line to him. You cannot play Paqueta in a midfield that has Thomas Souček in it. It's easy for me to now start talking about Flynn Downs now. I'm not going to, in terms of that. I want to see him. I know not a lot of you want to see him, but this video is already 10 minutes long, and I've only done 3. Okay, so let's get to point number 4. Media comments. Okay, the reason media comments I think are important is it demonstrates how happy a manager is. David Moyes has been a really happy guy the past couple of years. I really do. He was there for a laugh. He was really enjoying himself, pleased to be at West Ham. He didn't look like a man who had the weight of the world on his shoulders. He does at the moment. There's absolutely no doubt about it. Anybody that's seen his most recent press conference where the journalist called him Moyesy, and he swore. I mean, he tried to make out he was laughing, but he wasn't. He basically swore and he said, we're not that close, and tried to make a laugh about it, but he was unhappy. It was quite clear he was unhappy. The media comments are really weird as well. He's also complained, one of the reasons he gave for the Everton loss was fixture congestion. Well, okay, we'd played on the Thursday, but we'd also had a week on the training ground before that because the Queen passed away and there wasn't any Premier League football. Also, he's got a squad for it now. He really has a squad for it. I just don't think it was an excuse that could be made. And again, much like the pre-season, much like the integrating of the players, it's not something that seems to bother the other teams that are playing in Europe. But it certainly does bother us. As I said, he's angry. I think the comments that we're getting better was a real worry. And that takes back to the first thing I said at the start of this video. It's a failure to recognise that something's wrong. David Moyes said, we look to be getting better. We're doing okay. Those are his words. His words. We're doing okay. He turned around and he said, I thought we were good against Chelsea. Well, no, we finished strongly against Chelsea. Had a goal disallowed. But, I mean, had he brought those players on, particularly Cornet, had he brought those players on earlier on, we may well have got something. Actually, we were pretty stinky for most of that game. He said we were good against Tottenham. He said we were good in the last game in Europe, which was Silkeborg. So I've just double-checked there. Really? I'm not so sure. I think it doesn't tell the tale of the goals. What was terrible officiating. We got very, very lucky. They were all over us. They had a legitimate goal ruled out. We got lucky with the penalty. Could have gone either way. I just don't think so. So I think the things he's saying in the press are not great as well, which is going to get on to... which goes into point number 5, which is messaging to the players. I think this is really... I think it's rubbish, actually. And also that feeds into number 6 as well, which basically, number 6 is a lot of the players look fed up. But let's go back to the messaging. So what he says in the media is messaging to the players. It's really, I don't know if he notices the value of this, but it looks like he has favourites. It just does. I mean, a lot of us suspected it with Ben Rama. However, against Silkeborg, the ball was given away by Jarrod Bowen. He criticised all the front three at the time, which were Cornet, Ben Rama and Bowen. But then he sort of backtracked a little and he said, but I think Bowen's getting back to his best. But it was Bowen that gave the ball away. And I think if I was Cornet, I'd be saying, hold on a second, why are you saying that stuff about me and him but letting him off the hook, which is pretty much what he did. I think it's bad messaging in the way he speaks. I think it's bad messaging in what he displays. Actions speak louder than words. And I'm not suggesting that Flynn Downs is the saviour to all West Ham's problems. I'm not. I think it's an easy stick to beat David Moyes with, and I don't want to do it. That's why these are legitimate things I'm concerned about. All right? And if anyone's going to come back on this, because I will do a video on what I perceive to be the positive things, don't just come back and say, Gonzo, what you're moaning about Moyesy for. Address one of these 7 points, if you will, and tell me why I'm wrong. Explain to me, rather than just complaining that I want Moyes out, which actually I don't, okay? Sorry if I'm a little bit sensitive on that issue, but when you read the same thing over and over again, it gets a little bit annoying. I'm sounding like David Moyes now, aren't I? Anyway, it's fine. You can call me Gonzo. I won't get annoyed. Messaging to the players. The one with Flynn Downs, I think that just sends out the wrong messaging. Man of the match. Okay, well, why are you not playing him? Well, I don't play him. But then at the same time, he moans that the players aren't fit or whatever. We've got fixture congestion. None of it makes any sense. The things he says contradict one another. which feeds into number 6. The players look fed up already. This is not good. I spoke about it last season. There were times last season, particularly Declan Rice, started to look fed up. I think because Declan, we've all seen the videos with Declan, right, where he does the YouTube videos and all this. He's a happy chappy, right? Fair enough. Declan Rice is a happy chappy. He's a joker. The thing is, with happy people, right, when they're miserable, it stands out, right? It stands out times 10. It really does. If you're miserable all the time and then you're basically a little bit grumpy, you don't really notice it. We all know different people in life. Let's put it that way. But if you know someone that's quite jolly and quite jovial, Declan Rice is that. It sticks out like a sore thumb when he ain't happy. And I tell you what, we saw it a lot last season, and he wasn't the only one either. I think what worries me this time is the new boys already look unhappy, and that is not good. He's got form for it. We saw it last season and the season before. Ben Rama. I spoke with Harry Redknapp recently. Did the interview on Patreon with Harry Redknapp, and Harry was talking about different people needing different styles of man management. It's quite obvious that Ben Rama needed an arm around him. Ben Rama spent far too much of his West Ham career demotivated, I think, anyway. And to such an extent, actually, I believe the directors, when I say the directors, I mean the television directors, are aware of it as well. Was the director, I'm telling you what you bloody already know, but he's the guy that's watching a game, right? I say, okay, camera 2, camera 4, okay? And I say, you actually saw it. We had a lot of crap corners against Everton. There was one that Sai Ben Rama did, which was crap, but it wasn't the crappiest. You just knew the director, the television director said, Ben Rama missed it, camera 1, bang, which was straight to Moyes. So the only time you ever saw Moyes react to a corner was him going like that to Ben Rama. That's what he was doing. Everyone's aware of it. It ain't good. It ain't a good look. And I'll tell you what else ain't a good look. Seeing a frustrated Lucas Paqueta, a £50 million signing, who it doesn't look like. I'll tell you what, I said it doesn't look like David Moyes knows what to do with him. I do wonder if Lucas Paqueta's thinking, oh my God, what have I done? What have I joined? That manager doesn't know what to do with me. And I've got to say the same with Scamacca. Scamacca is grumpy. He's grumpy. He is not. We are not playing to his strengths, which makes you sort of wonder if we're not playing to the big target man's strengths, and we're not playing to the silky, tricky Brazilian strengths. We're not actually playing to even Souček's strengths now. Whose bloody strengths are we playing to? Well, nobody's, because there doesn't seem to be a lot of strength in it at the moment. So yeah, that's point number 6. The players look fed up already, and all these points tie into each other, but ties in to point number 7. God dear, I was ambitious thinking this was going to be a 12-minute video. Point number 7, favourites. Favourites, which we've sort of touched on with Jeroboam, we sort of touched on it with Ben Rama. What's going on? Okay, I can. Sometimes, if you're a regular watcher of this channel, sometimes I see things and I say there are no set of circumstances this is going to happen. Happens with Elise last season. I won't tell the whole story again. You've heard it all before, unless you're new to the channel. Basically, the story is there were no set of circumstances which Elise would have played centre-back for West Ham United's first team last season. Right? That was it. Now, don't get me wrong, he's not gone and done anything good, but I'm just talking about there's just certain things that ain't going to happen. And I think I do wonder if that's going to be the case with Keira at right back, actually. I think it almost doesn't matter how bad Soufal's going to be, and his passing and first touch is atrocious at the moment. It's certainly a massive hindrance in terms of us retaining the ball or passing the ball. But he's a favourite. He seems to be a favourite. At least David Moyes will drop him. I think if Johnson was there, David Moyes would drop him, but he's not prepared to look a little bit beyond Johnson not being there. He's not going to put Keira there, actually. I think that's a problem. I also think Souček, massive issue. Souček plays whatever. I don't even know why I believed for a moment, actually, in the summer that Moyes was going to sell Souček. What I don't understand is why David Moyes hasn't given him the contract he wants, because clearly he is close to being the undroppable to David Moyes. He's close to being the first name on the team sheet all the time. Thou shalt not sub Thomas Souček, even if he is a complete and utter hindrance to the way we're playing. And I don't want it to seem like I'm hating on Thomas Souček. I'm really not, but I'm talking about favourites here. Basically, he plays, and nothing else is going to stop that. And I'll go back to Flynn Downs. We saw we saw what happens to Declan Rice when he's got a stable partner next to him, which was Flynn Downs. Basically, Flynn Downs is always going to be there, but Flynn Downs is also on the same wavelength and has the technical ability to pass and move with Declan, so it allows Declan to play with confidence. That, in turn, would allow him to get a little bit further forward and help out Lucas Paqueta. And I do think that's a massive hindrance. The other hindrance, and I know he will sometimes drop Fornals. I'm not saying he won't, but he is one of Moyes' favourites. And the trouble is when Fornals plays, Fornals is taking up the position of an attacker, but we're an attacker short because he's not really an attacker. And I don't care what the stats say about that. I don't care what the formation is, because if you lined up the formation and you had the back four and then you had the back two, and then it would look like, if you were looking at it, that Fornals was playing left wing or playing attacking midfield. Forget it, discount it. All that is a graphic on a screen, because you know and I know that Fornals is basically a defender. That's what he's there to do. He's there to cover a little bit more. And if that's happening, then what we are is one attacker short in the team. And too often, when we play in games, we end up having two attackers. And one of those is isolated, and I'm talking about Antonio there. Realistically, you can probably call Jarrod Bowen an attacker. In fact, you can call him an attacker, even when it's not going his way. He still had a couple of shots, didn't he, in the game against Everton? But basically, we're playing with one less winger, one less wide player when Fornals plays. And the most ridiculous thing about that is, start of the season, Benrahma was on fire. Actually, start of last season, he was on fire as well. In fact, that's a different song. And we can't. I tell you what, we can't sing a song about Benrahma being on fire. That's for sure. But he was playing well, and he looked like a left winger, and he was playing on the left wing. And I tell you what, since I've seen him play absolutely blindly on the left wing at the start of the season, I'm not seeing him play there again. And it's just another. It's just another thing to make me concerned and make me worry about. And I believe you me, I've spoken as quick as I possibly can through this video. I've tried to do this video quickly, yet still, even me speaking quickly and going through bullet points is still 22 minutes long of me trying to work out what's going wrong with West Ham. And I think they're all in their own way cause for concern. I'll tell you something else as well. I've just hurriedly written down this list now. There's going to be other stuff which I've forgotten. When I click end on this video, I'm going to think, I didn't mention that, I didn't mention that, I didn't mention that. And I'll tell you, you're going to mention it to me in the comments, and that's because there is more wrong than what I've just written down there. And it is a massive worry. And I'll deal with the rest another time about how this affects Moyes, because the dynamic of the ownership's changed. But something needs to give. Something needs to give, because at the moment, it doesn't look like a happy camp. It doesn't. I'm hearing it. I'm hearing players say, oh, it ain't that bad, but they would say that. They always do. It ain't too good. I will do, in the interest of balance, I will do a video about what David Moyes brings to the table. And I'll do, honestly, I'll do it as honestly as I possibly can. And if you've got, and I mean this, I want to hear from the people there that are absolutely confident that David Moyes will pull us out of this. But tell me why, and I will include those points in the video. I mean, I really will, because I'm interested to see what people think. And I didn't want to be doing this video, as I said beforehand. I would have rather been talking about a Scamacca hat-trick or a Paqueta overhead kick or any number of things that we had 7 points, but I don't know if you can call that game against Everton a 6-pointer. It sort of felt like it. And when you look at the teams we have beat in the last calendar year, Palace, Norwich twice, Watford, Wolves, Villa, Everton. I know we didn't beat them this time. Those are the teams we've beaten, by the way. It ain't looking good. You know, it's not looking good in terms of some of the games coming up. Anyway, that's it from me. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I do apologise if it's been a little bit negative. I'm trying not to. I will try and balance it up. I will catch up with you tomorrow.